So I'm sure by now, most of you loyal fans have heard just about every excuse for a late Prof-It episode. Maybe it's my job, or school, or family, or maybe it's just because I'm lazy. And while most of those other things put in a factor to this late episode, there's one really cool thing that I'm sure you'll all be pretty excited about. The official JWittz Prof-It website is up. Check it out at www.jwitz.com. I'm sure you'll like it. You're Reggie Rocket with my nonsense and hopeless Poke projects. You won't stop till you're about to the top with all the hot bips. Hit with the metagame train, the reigning top kid's at the top of his game, and you can't hit on top this. You want the best tricks? I suggest you Prof-It. You want a mess split? I suggest you Prof-It. Once we started rolling, you know you can't stop it. Let's go and get some lessons from JWittz and Prof-It. Yeah! So, I didn't get as much coverage as I thought I was going to this year's Nationals, but that's mostly because I was in the main event, playing up to 10 hours a day. However, I still have got a lot to talk about, and I'm going to break this year's Nationals coverage up into 3 different videos. One on my commentary of the event, a second for my own personal tournament report, and a third of my analysis on the winning decks. So, without further ado, I got a lot to talk about, so let's get right to it. This year's event was amazing, and the common consensus among most of the fans is that it was the best site for Nationals ever. The location was enormous, holding everybody easily with no jams, and it was in walking distance for food, hotels, and convenience. The city itself was pretty clean, and the locals were friendly. This year, there were 1,303 active players in the main event, and that's not including all of the parents, non-participants, and players who came for the Pokemon Video Game National Championship. There was the main event, of course, room for plenty of different side events, and a free play area. Things looked pretty nice, with 2 giant floating Pikachus, and some little inflatable gold and silver starters around. The event itself ran pretty smoothly, with just a few delays in between rounds, and only 1 repairing. I never needed a judge and never had a game that lasted till time, but from what I've heard, the judges were pretty fair and quick in their decisions. This year's games were held over the course of 3 days instead of the usual 2, and I really felt like it was a big improvement. The first day we played 7 games, and that lasted from 9 AM to nearly 8:30 PM. I couldn't imagine it taking any longer in a single day, and I'm pretty sure they'll keep it to a 3-day format from now on. The vendors this year were both pretty decent. With 2 vendors, Collector's Cash and Troll and Toad, you get the competitive pricing and a lot of variety. I didn't sell anything at the event, but I heard Troll and Toad was the place to go to sell your cards. Collector's Cash had most of the sleeves and accessories, so I got most of my non-card items there. All in all, people were generally friendly, and from what I hear, that alone is a big improvement from last year. The side events were a mixed bag. The main 8-round side event that I missed, mostly because of the top cut rounds, experimented with a new time system that I thought was pretty cool. They called it 30+3, where instead of ending a game at 40 minutes, it now goes back to the way it did a few years ago with 30-minute games. However, if a game ends in a tie, the current player gets to finish their turn, and then 3 more individual player turns passed after that to resolve the tie. I didn't have a chance to test it, but it seemed like it would help tournaments run much more quickly, while making it harder for a player to win by slow playing a game out just to take the last prize. The league play and 8-man tournaments were also pretty cool, which gave out packs, playmats, and other stuff pretty regularly. But the big problem for most people came from the Mutant Draft, which was supposed to be a late-night event starting at 10. In the event, players were given 6 different packs from sets all across the existence of the game, and then made 40 card decks and played 4 prize games with their cards. The cool thing about a Mutant Draft, however, is that in addition to being able to evolve by correct Pokemon, like Charmander to Charmeleon, you could evolve by the same type as well, such as Charmander to Quilava, and then Quilava to Magmortar level X. This format is actually really fun, but the problem was in the way that it was run. The event didn't end up starting until about 11, and even though the rounds were only 20 minutes each, they ended up taking about an hour each to complete. The 3rd round started at about 1 in the morning, and I decided to drop from the event altogether. I understand that there were almost 250 people playing, but with such slow rounds starting so late, and later finding out that there was no prize support, it was a pretty big disappointment. But the best part of the event for me was meeting with the countless Prof-It fans. There were way more of you guys than I expected, and I ran out of all my JWittz cards right away. Sorry if you didn't get the chance to get one from me before they all left my hands, but I'll figure out a way to get more out to you guys in the future. I had people asking me to sign their playmats, deck boxes, JWittz cards, and even Hop-Ips.
It was a blast to see how many Prof-It fans there are out there, and it was cool meeting some of you guys from the internet for the first time in person. I'll see you all again next year.
So, that's my analysis on this year's Nationals event. Be sure to tune in soon for my own personal tournament report, and later for my analysis on the winning decks. And if you got the time, be sure to check out Prof-It's new official website at JWittz.com. Thanks for watching. Have a nice weekend. Peace. Today's information-filled Prof-It episode was brought to you by Stop2Shop.com, and they've got a special offer for you. If you use the coupon code PROF-IT, all caps, you get 15% off your full order. Stop2Shop.com offers a wide selection of decks, packs, single cards, sleeves, and they offer $1.99 shipping for up to 100 single cards. Be sure to check them out for your Pokemon card needs, and thanks for sponsoring Prof-It.